Yo, high school basketball started tonight, and it was a good one. Monroe versus Westover. Monroe got the win. So just jumping right into it, man. I was impressed by these young men. They played hard. Monroe definitely played hard. That's kind of what they, how they kind of outwitted Westover tonight. They got a lot of loose balls. Uh, just played hard overall. Like they seemed like they just had a little bit more grit. Now they did outnumber Westover in um, with depth, but yeah, I was impressed, man. Shout out to Monroe for a good team win in overtime. Um, Now from tonight's games, you can see what kids work on their game. Now, I'm familiar with some of the kids. I don't know a lot of them personally, but I'm familiar with some of them from them doing the go hard runs. Shout out to Ravi. He did a great job setting up those runs and having real referees in the building. Um, so I got to watch some of these kids play. And like I anticipated, I figured Lee County would be a good team because they seem like they're well coached. Uh, they were probably some of the most vocal kids, um, and they just they have some talent. They have talent, um, but that's another subject. We'll stick with the Westover Monroe game. But yeah, so you can see what kids like are doing what they need to do with the team, but then you can also see what kids are like working with a trainer, or even if they aren't working with a trainer, like they're spending time on their craft. And you know, I'm training a few of the players on the court tonight, but and a kid that I'm not training that I was impressed by before I even saw him play tonight was number 3 for Monroe. I had trained some kids at Ravi's gym a few weeks ago, and he came in a little bit after the workout started. He was on the Vertimax. He was doing some ball handling on the side. Both full court baskets were occupied. But from watching him play before that, I was just impressed by his pace. He can get to the rack left and right. Has a nice pull up. Can make the three, but I think his strength is in the mid range. Let me see. Hey, what's up, G? Shout out to G, man. G always you and your brother always show me support, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to my guy G. But yeah, so and that's no slight to the other kids, but it does show that kids who work consistently will see good results on the court. And just staying with the work, just because your season started doesn't mean that you don't do work outside the team. So I want all players to keep that in mind. Work on your game with your team, but also without it. Let's see. These are going to kind of be all over the place. I just made some notes here. In overtime, you have to get, and I got a grammatical error here, but in OT, you have to get Kamari or Jeremiah more shot attempts. Westover didn't score in overtime, and Kamari shot the ball well, hit a big shot to take it into overtime. And Jeremiah got going in the second half. I think he had 12 or 14 points in the fourth quarter. And they, the 2 shot attempts that they both had in the overtime were, tough shots. They were just, trying to get some shot attempts. And, I think just as a team, I hate to say, can't say it's on the coach, but as a team, you got to recognize who plays well or who is playing well that night and put them in a position to try to help you guys get over the top. That doesn't mean that no one else should take shots, but I think as a team, you got to be aware of that. And yeah, they just didn't. They weren't able to, get those guys shot attempts, and they had some, unfortunate turnovers there. If I'm Westover, number 0 needs minutes for you guys. He looks very comfortable as a freshman. Sometimes you can just see it. You can see when a guy has that it factor, and I think he does. And I think him getting minutes earlier early in the season will help Westover down the line, especially getting KD back. That's going to be big. You know, I think you have KD tonight. You win the game, but that's not to take any credit away from Monroe. I just think with his leadership, that puts him over the top. But you got to give Zero some minutes, Coach. That's just my opinion. Uh, and to the coach from Westover, I thought he did a great job tonight. And just like I said, KD will be a big difference maker at the point for Westover, not only for tonight, but I just think overall for the season. And just his presence. I've spent a little bit of time with him. Haven't got to train him, but I got to spend some time with him. He has this just natural, maturity about him, and he plays big. He plays tough, and I think that's what Westover was lacking tonight: his leadership and his toughness. Let's see here. I think number 5, I don't know his name. I'll learn these kids' name. I think number 5 from Westover will play better. He didn't play bad, but he was in some foul trouble, and then he couldn't really get into a rhythm. But I really like his game. I like 5's game, and I think that even him being in a better rhythm tonight, that puts Westover in a better position. But he had some foul trouble and couldn't really catch a flow in the game, man. But I think he'll be big for Westover this year. Number 21 for Monroe needs more minutes. I think he's like a hidden gem for them. I watched him play a little bit here again in the go hard runs, and even tonight, when he got in, I think he got a rebound. They kind of went down the transition, ran a pretty good series on their ball movement and offense. He caught a corner 3. He can guard multiple positions, so I just think he needs to touch the floor more, and I think that'll help put Monroe in a good position. TJ will play big for Westover this year. He had some foul trouble tonight, but I like what he did from a balance standpoint. Him getting offensive rebounds and using his pivot and not being in a rush. I think that's going to be major for Westover this year, being in that, for the most part, they have heavy guard play, and they will be shooting a lot of jump shots and floaters and things like that. So he'll be getting offensive rebounds, and obviously when they play zone, him getting in the middle, he'll be big, for them. And then shout out to number 32 for Westover. He came in and did an excellent job, had some big offensive rebounds, took a big charge late down the stretch. Had some good finishes. With nice hands, man. So 32, shout out to you, man. Keep it up. Kamari and Jeremiah played very well tonight, man. I was proud of those guys. Kamari is a hardworking young man. Jeremiah is a young man that's working hard also, and he's I've been able to work with him some. So to see those guys thrive tonight for Westover is good, and I think as they add their depth, they're going to be in a good position this year. As you guys know, Westover lost in the state championship last year, so I'm excited to see how they turn over here over the next few weeks, and having their full team together. Should be a fun season for them. And number 3 from Monroe kept things under control for Monroe tonight. He to me, if I had to pick, I would probably say he was my most valuable player tonight. Very composed, change of pace was excellent. I don't recall him taking a bad shot. I mean, and I don't know. I like his game a lot. I like how he plays and stays within the flow, but he kind of knows when he needs to hunt and go get a shot. BT said, can they shoot it like me or not? Hey, you got a couple out there that can shoot it. Kamar is nice. Jeremiah, Jeremiah's coming along. And number 1 for Monroe, he's a gamer. I heard he's a pretty big time football player. And to see him come out, straight out that field and hit some big threes. He was one of the most vocal players overall for any team. Like, I remember him, when Westover was making a run to come back, he walked around to every player and was like, hey, we got to play defense. I don't care about all the other stuff. We got to play defense. So he's a great leader for them. But three was my MVP. He had some nice dimes. He handled the ball pretty well. He even played pretty solid defense. Like he was into it on defense. Most guys who are good offensively can be lackadaisical sometimes on defense, but he did well with staying engaged and um, going for steals on the ball, putting ball pressure. I like Monroe. I like the culture of Monroe. I've always, liked it. Going back to Demetrius Bennett, and there's many others to name, but their culture has always kind of been blue collar, and they still kind of carry that. So I'm excited to see these young men for what Monroe and Westover blossom here during this season. And oh yeah, I didn't want to leave this out. Let me see. Okay, to number 5 uh, for Monroe. Super high level athlete. Um, can handle the ball pretty well. I know because he's tall, and we're here in South Georgia. He's playing the 4-5, but at the collegiate level, he'll be with a 2-3. So it's like, um, but I think just this message to you, and I'll send this to you personally. Um, Try to figure out what your identity will be. You know, I would advise you when you catch it behind the 3-point line, catch it and hold before you start to just catch and dribble. Not that you can't do that, but it'll make your decision making a lot easier. And because you're a great athlete, your first step is good. Catch it and hold, and then attack quick. And then also, when you get to the paint, even though you can finish over everybody, learn how to get to that paint, slam on breaks, and then now reuse your athleticism. Because remember, the type of athlete that you are is, if I'm starting here and then we're gonna say ready, set, go, you're gonna probably outrun, or if we're gonna be jumping up for a jump ball, you're gonna probably out jump most guys. So now if we can put that into skill play and game time situations, now if I have it in my triple threat, now I attack quick, right? Then maybe I stop, then I attack quick again. Now, that puts you in a position to do what you do well, be athletic, be explosive, and you have pretty good instincts as well. That you thrive on the offensive rebounds, but knowing where to get your shot. So your offense seems pretty open. I think you should connect with number 3 on setting ball screens. One's a pretty good shooter. Connect with setting ball screens for him. But when you set ball screens, separate and get space away from that ball handler. So now you can catch in an open space and shoot it, or catch in an open space to go run by dunk it on somebody, man. So good job tonight from both sides. I think it'll be a fun season for basketball in Albany. I didn't get to watch Darty. I didn't get to watch Lee County, but I'm just a fan of Lee County players overall because they're skilled, they play hard, and like I said, they look like they're well coached. But as far as with tonight, man, if I could give just overall everybody just a little advice as a player, figure out what your identity is for your team, and know what you do well. If you're not a great 3-point shooter, don't make shooting threes your first option. Not telling you not to shoot them. If you're more of a slasher, or if you're more of a mid-range shooter, um then those are the shots that you train for, but those are the shots that you got to hunt for in the game. Also too, starting games, even if you're a great 3-point shooter, try not to make shooting a three your first shot attempt. And the reason why I say that is because even if you're a great 3-point shooter, if you're shooting 40% from three, think about that. 40% isn't that great of a percentage, right? But from the field, like from the 2-point area, you may be 60%. You may be 50%. So go where the odds are stronger, but also, it's a higher percentage shot. Get a layup, a dunk, a floater, or get fouled and make 2 free throws? Once you see the ball go in, you feel comfortable, you loosen up a little bit, then maybe you can find your 3-point shot, man. So that's just some advice for you guys, and Oh yeah, one more thing. If you come out and you miss your first 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 shots, but if you're getting significant minutes, keep firing, keep taking shots, especially if that's something that's in your repertoire. If you're a shooter, if you're looked at to be a scorer for the team, you got to find ways to still be confident in taking your shots, but also being effective in other ways, rebounding, playing good defense, being vocal, staying engaged. All right. Hey man, creative athlete signing out. Hope this helps somebody. Share this with a young basketball player. It's game one. Don't be too hard on yourself, and stay in the lab, man. You keep working on your game in season. Do things with the team, but what you do outside of the team takes you to the next level. All right. Signing out.